Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Happy Abode. Today, we're going to be working on getting our base set up to use Atmos suits. So, we have a lot of things we need to do with that. We need to do some changes to our power system. We need to move some water into new storage, and we need to seal the base off so that we can get set up so that there is only one way in and out of it. That way, our duplicates always use the Atmos suit. So, for the Atmos suit docks, we're going to need a few things. We need refined metal, which we are very, very short on. So first I'm going to queue some of that up just so we can get that going. We have an oxygen supply. So when we connect to this oxygen, we can easily run a line to our dupes or to the suits so that our dupes have air inside their suits. And there we go. I'm going to just bypass this vent so that that oxygen gets distributed at the top of the base, and then we'll have one down here. So then these other two lines will be used to put oxygen into Atmos. So then we have the oxygen sorted, but we need power for them. So right now, the only power we have in the base is this here, and this is connected just to here, and everything else is run by our manual generator. We also want to connect up this power that's being generated to some transformers so that we can get the power set up in such a way that we don't have our duplicates running on treadmills in order to get the power going. So what I think I want to do is just kind of do a little bit of redesign around the base to get things a little neater and a little more placed in the ways that I want it to be. And that way we can move things around and come up with a plan for it. We have a couple other things we need to add to the base as well. Right now we have a place for the gunk extractor, but we're not using it to make gear balm, and so this bathroom's not really complete. We have stuff just kind of all over the place. I kind of want to condense this down and make the base a little more neat and organized. So we're going to work on that first and just kind of come up with a plan for how we want to distribute our power and make the base a little more future ready as we start laying everything in. I figured out the first section of how I want to lay things out, and that's that I want to put our water storage up here. It'll be like a water tower at the top of our base, and that's because all the water sources are up here. So they're close by. I can put it in here. And we're going to go with a water storage system that's going to use reservoirs instead of infinite storage. And I want to use these new buildings that we have. So the bottle drainer is going to allow us to take bottles of water that are around the map and dump them into the storage here. The bottle filler is going to be like our pitcher pump that we use down here. So instead of taking it out of the world, it pulls it out of the pipes. And so the idea is that once you pick up the water out of the world, you never put it back out into the world again unless that's the intention. The rest of the time it just gets stored, and then we use gravity in the pipes to feed it to where we need to go. It'll be more efficient with power. It'll be less efficient space-wise, because it's going to take up more space, but it'll be more efficient with our power, because with an infinite storage, you have to dump it into the infinite storage, and you have pumps in there that you need to regulate and send back out, and things like that. In this case, water will be in these reservoirs, and they will be holding the water for where we need it to go. If you notice, I left some space over here, and that's because the water I want to have the most storage. This will be polluted water, and then in here I'm going to put a system for sieves that will clean the polluted water and send it down into the water storage. And then for the brine, I'll do the same with desalinators. And that way, when this starts to empty because we don't have enough water coming in, then it'll start processing the other types of water into water so that we can keep our water tanks full. And otherwise, we'll just store the excess as polluted water and brine so that we still have access to use that as we need to. Over here, I'm setting up a filter system. Pretty simple setup I've done before. It's a powerless filter. So when the power, or not powerless, but a power safe filter. So when the power cuts out to this, all the fluids continue to loop, which means we never end up with a blob of water or fluid inside the space where the shutoff is. when the shutoff kicks back on, it won't let anything through. It has to be in motion around as we go. So I can show you a little more detail on that if you like, but it's pretty much the standard one that I have been using for quite some time. So basically all we need to do is feed the liquid into this loop from the top. So we'll do that with a, wrong thing, with a liquid bridge like this. We'll feed it onto this side of the loop. That means that it won't ever completely fill the loop because this will only allow it in when there is space. And so that loop will stay in constant motion. Whenever it hits one of these, if it matches the type that we have selected, it will try to go through the liquid shutoff and send it on the way. And as long as this is powered and it matches, it'll go if there's space. So whether we run out of space or we run out of power, this won't break. And by that I mean accept the wrong fluid. It'll just send that fluid along even though it matches because there's nowhere for it to go. So we're going to get one set up for water, polluted water, and brine. And then we can set a pump in here and start pumping out some of this mixed fluids that we have and get everything going as far as getting some storage put up. For the rest of the base, I've done a couple of things. I started putting down a insulated tile wall around this side. I extended it up a little bit just so that this doesn't spill over. I don't want to have this cool salt slush water spilling down onto our base. And it'll keep it so that this temperature can be separated so we can start warming things up in here. That wall is going to come all the way down, and we're going to put in some more things like our grate hall in here and things like that. I also left a space up here for another ranch. My thought is that once I get the temperatures under control, I can move the pips up there because they're going to start overheating down here because of the power generation going on, and I don't have active cooling just yet. So when I think that by the time this starts to warm up, this will be cool, warm enough we can move them up here. I'll have to make some tiles to move them, and then I can put them so that they're kind of in line with the rest of our stuff here, and then that way it'll just look better, and I won't have this pip branch that's kind of shoved off to the side. The base is getting closed up. I'm going to have to remove this power, and we'll close this up. And the idea is that we will make it so that nobody can get out except through this spot here. And this I'm going to be filling with water so that we have a liquid lock to keep the oxygen in and all the other gases out. And this is where we'll put our Atmos suit dock. And then that way, duplicants can be in here. They won't go out unless they come through this entryway. And that will be our base for this playthrough. So we still need to get the rest of this built. I'm still cleaning some things up, and I'm making more refined metal. We now have a good bit more, but I still am processing some more of it so that we can have it to build the Atmos suit docks and get things set up for that. Just a real quick note, I got Easy Living, which is having auto sweepers complete more deliveries to machines than duplicates over 5 cycles. This used to be really hard to get. Now it was just really simple. I just have machines moving eggs around, and I have machines doing, or sweepers moving other stuff in here. And because I wasn't really delivering anything over 5 cycles, I was just building, I got it. So it's kind of nice. Saved me the hard work of that achievement. I am working my way around here so that I can also build off this. That way the cool slush geyser will dump all of its contents down here with the cool salt slush geyser. And for now, we'll just have a mixed tank here that we kind of pump out. Later, we'll separate it so that we have just salt being fed directly in and polluted water being fed directly in from up here and water from this system. But for now, I want to be able to clean out all of this stuff here, including all the ice that is in here. Get it all put down in here to melt and turned into fluids for us. So I'm just closing it all up into one system. Once we have this ladder through, we'll be able to get around to do everything too. So that'll be good. And everybody else is just working on getting everything built. I'm not really worried about what I build stuff out of at the moment, because now we can actually switch the material later. So that is where we are at. Made a fair amount of progress over the last few cycles. We have started working out this section here just to get this water pumping. So we have polluted water and brine being put into these. Put these down just so I can start deciding how I want to set up the process for refining them into water. And I've also built the checkpoint. It's not active yet, so nobody can get through at the moment, but I'm just waiting for them to finish getting the copper. I needed to go and dig up a bunch of copper. I did some here. Oh, uh-oh. Always trying to get trapped as much as they can. But I dug up all the copper I could in this area, and I also dug up some up here, but this was getting too far away to go without Atmos suits. So that's why we're getting all of this. We're using that to make power banks. We're using that to make copper ore. I definitely need to set up a power bank charger. And I have started doing some separation of the power here. So I have two different, well, three total, but I have two different grids for the base and one for our oxygen system here. And I'm also pumping this water up into our water usage. That way we don't run out quite as quick. I want to get this, and then I also want to pump out this little bit. I think that's all of the fresh water left, other than a little tiny bit mixed in. And then we'll have to come up here to start getting this one, as well as refining the other types of water. So once we have power here, I have an oxygen line run out. I do not have Atmos suits yet, so we need to get an exosuit forge set up so that we can craft Atmos suits. I also need to get reed fiber going, and we're going to use the sewer lines from here to produce some reed fiber. So this stuff is all connected to this power grid now, which means I'm going to disconnect the manual generators from our process here. Then we can deconstruct the wires here, and we'll get rid of all of the manual generators as well. Once this power discharges back into the network, we'll get rid of these batteries and this power transformer, and then we'll start putting in our hydroponic farm here to use the sewer runoff from our bathroom to make reed fiber. I'm also going to take the polluted water we have stored. We've gotten 3 tanks full of it down here, and I'm going to send that back up and turn that all into reed fiber as well. So let's deconstruct these batteries now that they're empty, and this power transformer. As far as all the power wires, we're going to take all this out, and we'll also take these. So the first thing we need to do is put in some hydroponic tiles. We're only going to need a few of them to handle the sewer from the bathroom, but I'm going to go ahead and just fill this whole section with them for now so that we can make as much reed fiber as we can. So all we need to do is take a plumbing line and go like this and feed it into all of these. Get rid of these tiles as well. And then as far as the line from down here, what we're going to do is, instead of doing this, I think the best way to do this, I think I can just connect it right here, and then it'll go up here, and it'll go up to here. We can deconstruct this. Actually, I don't want to do it that way because it's going to cause problems. We're going to grab it from the output here and go this way, which means that when I take that bridge off, for now, all I'm going to do is reverse that bridge. Actually, I guess I could just go like this because it's just temporary, and eventually we're going to run it this way. So if we get those two put in, we will have this fluid start running the other way. Maybe it won't because of the priority system. Let's just do this and this. Once that bridge is built, then it'll flow this way and come down here. We're going to need to plant some reed fiber. Just plant that, and we'll copy it across to all of these. I also put in here a place to store a gunk. So I basically just made it so that We can drop off gunk if we have it around the map. It'll get put into this storage. And this is going to a bottle filler, meaning we can grab bottles of gunk out of here. We need to use that to make gear balm, but we need the apothecary for it. So we'll research that real quick. That way we can get that set up here. This area is where I'm going to work on the Great Hall as well. So a lot of projects to do. I'm just focusing on getting this Atmos suit up and running. So this here, as soon as we get a delivery suit, or suit that we can deliver, we'll have one person that can go out, they can finish running the second line, they can do some other stuff, and then we'll just slowly expand this as we go, as we get more metals for it. So basically all we're going to do is add in another dock for the oxygen. We're going to do it just like this, and then we'll just connect it up to there, and the power is already there. So we can do that all the way out to here, which is 16, which is the amount we can fit on one line. For now, that line is just connected to another line. We're going to have to run a dedicated line for it when we get more in there, but we are doing it one step at a time. So let's put in our exosuit forge here. We need to get power to that. Okay, so now we'll get this built, and that means that we'll be able to craft Atmos suits. I also have just closed off here, and here closes off because of the Atmos suit checkpoint. Everything else is closed to the top. So the bottom is still wide open. Duplicates can come down here to grab things that they need. Eventually, when we get rid of all this water, we'll fill this in and make it so that there's a ladder down here, and we'll start closing off the bottom section as well, so that our duplicates are in Atmos suits everywhere but in the base. But have to do it in steps. So we're getting there, but we just need to finish a few other things. Other thing we need to do, the wrong power wires there. Did I need them out of iron? Other thing we need to do is set this so that it repairs Atmos suits forever. That way we can just use the reed fiber to repair them as we use them. And that means our Atmos suit will be working indefinitely. We just have to continue to expand. Bubbles just delivered our first Atmos suit to the docks. It is charging up with oxygen, and as soon as it has enough in there, somebody will be able to go through and use it. Nisbet's bringing our next one. We already have plenty of oxygen coming up here, so they fill up pretty quick. As soon as that's available, somebody will be able to go out here. We'll get the other pipe done. That way we have even more oxygen fed up here. And we just need to keep expanding this out. So I'm going to do another one while we're sitting here waiting. And we will do the same thing here, where we just connect the gas pipes. And that will expand us even farther, so we can do more Atmos suits. For now, I just made 3. Let's queue up. I'm going to get 20 docks up there, so let's do another 20 of these. They'll just make them as we get copper. This is still going, and we should be doing fine. And to get the Atmos suits done, we can just deliver them here. Looks like San is going to be our first guy to get out of the base, which is great. So now we don't need to worry about any gases outside of here, which means that we could start pumping it out to get oxygen out of here, or we could exhaust our carbon dioxide out here. Lots of different options we could have to do that, but mostly we just don't need to worry about the gases anymore. So they're going to finish connecting this line, and I have some work up here that I have queued up, which is all underwater. But this here, we had some default accesses changed so that our Bionic duplicates couldn't go through, and now we don't need that anymore. Everybody's allowed through, because nobody will be up here. Nobody will be up here without an Atmos suit, so they can be down in here doing whatever they want. I also built a row of tiles up here, and I connected some here. The idea is that we're going to start working through digging in here. This is a lot of ice and polluted ice, as well as copper, and I need the copper, and I want to get the polluted ice collected into here just so it'll all start melting in a controlled area. I don't want to heat the base up and have this all start pouring down water all over us. and causing a mess. So the last thing I want to work on in this episode is getting renewable water set up and connected so that when we run out of water here, we will still be able to continue producing hydrogen and oxygen, because we look at our achievement, we are only 85,000 towards the 240,000 we need. It's probably going to take us another 70 cycles or so at the rate we're burning right now to get enough hydrogen burnt that we can switch to another fuel source. So while we're working on that, we'll get the water set up. We can keep supplying it. We have plenty of water sources up here that we have more than enough to keep all four of these running and our sewage system running and have extra water. So we just need to get it set up to do it. So as far as the water sieves go, they take 5 kilograms of polluted water, they use filtration medium, and then they produce 5 kilograms of water. So I want to do 2 of these, and I'm going to put them, rotate it so the inputs are at the same spot, and then we'll connect that up to our water. And then for the desalinators, these actually use 5 kilograms each of brine or salt water, but as far as producing, they only produce I think for brine it produces 3,500 water and 1,500 salt. And then if we were using salt water, we'd get a little more, but basically it's not going to be enough to fill the line. But also with these, I'm going to use 2, and we'll put it like that. So we need to get power up here for these, and we need to run the plumbing. So what I'm going to do for the plumbing is, let me think exactly how I want to orient this. I want to make it so that the brine comes out this way. It'll come into these 2. And then the water can come out like this. And it will come down this way. It'll come over here. And we will use a bridge to bridge onto here so that it flows the right way and go into the water storage. For the polluted water, we're going to do the same thing where we come down here. We come up and go into here. Should be fine. And then I'm going to use a couple of bridges to bridge the polluted water over. So we'll do one there and one there. That means the water, after it gets cleaned, will come out and it'll go to that line. So both of these will be supplying water to fill this up. So if the water runs out and we don't have water coming in, this will automatically start getting converted to water, so the water tanks fill. We just need power for these, and it's a total of 720. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do a line like this. Oh, we're out of copper already. We'll have to wait to get the power line run down, but I'm going to run the line down this way, and we'll set up another line to a new power transformer for these, because I don't have any more space on a power line up here for that. What we might be able to do is connect this to it as well. That would make sense. It's all part of the same system. Yeah, that's probably what we'll do. So we just need to get more copper. In order to finish that, we need to get it built, and then we will check out how that looks going forward, and we can connect this water up to our water needs when we run out of water here, here, and here. We got all of our liquids processing. So we have this pump still pulling everything from this collected pool here, and it's going into the filter. Our brine filled up, but now we have power to this, so the desalinators are making water from the brine. The brine's pretty cold, so every once in a while the pipes crack, so we have a little bit of water collecting on the floor. Not a problem. We'll deal with that later when we have a way to regulate temperatures better. That sends water down here. These only produce 3.5 kilograms per second for each, so that's sending a total of 7. So the polluted water is also getting processed, but only enough to fill in the pipe when we're not getting enough. Also, when the desalinators need emptied, like they do right now, this picks up and fills the line in, so we're getting 10. So this water system down here is getting a solid stream, 10 kilograms of water, as long as we have polluted water and brine in the system. Pretty cool. So we're all set there. I'm still working on expanding out all of our Atmos suit docks. Oh, I don't want the priority. But we're still dealing with a shortage on refined metal, which is fine. We'll just keep adding to it as we go. And every time we add them in, we just do the same thing with the rest of them. We just connect them up. Power's already there. All we have to do is connect it like this. And then once they get built, we add in Atmos suits. I have 5 more of them left. We can have just enough to finish those I put in there. And then we'll have to make some more, which is fine. So we're going to deliver a suit there. Deliver a suit there. Deliver a suit there. There. And there. So now we should have, that gives us 8 total suits that we can work on, and I'm going to queue up some more here so that we can build the rest of them. We have up till 16 is how much this power can handle. And like I said, we're going to have to redo some more stuff with the power, but I just wanted to get this going by the end of this episode. We're going to have to keep making more refined metal, and soon, when we go to the other asteroid that we have access to at the start, we'll be able to get into some more refined metals there as well. So that'll definitely help us. Metal here isn't great. We have a bunch of copper that we can dig up to make some more copper. Down here we have some iron the same way, and we have some very small amounts of refined iron in this lower part. So once we get this all finished, we're going to be able to go and collect all of that. Oh, I also built a Great Hall while I was waiting for the refined metal. So all it is I put in this space here that was next to these rooms. Was this 2 room? This room is too big for a bedroom now. That's a problem. Let's put it like that. The Great Hall just has enough paintings and the water cooler to make it into a Great Hall, and there's plenty of tables in here so that all of our standard duplicants have a place to sit and eat. They get that boost from that for their morale, which has helped the morale all around the base pretty well. So now we've reached the point where everybody lives inside the base. Everybody, when they go up here to do work, wears an Atmos suit. Why do we not have? Are we just waiting on more oxygen to flow through? Yeah, probably. Not a problem. We have plenty of oxygen coming up to take care of it. We might still have power issues, which is causing some issues. We still need to close off the bottom part of the base so that people don't go down here. But that'll be in between now and the next episode. I'll work on polishing everything up. But we got the basics down. We have our liquid storage going. We have our Atmos suits going. And now we can start getting into some more dangerous parts of the map, because we have everybody in Atmos suits when they leave, which will really help us accelerate what we're doing. The next thing I want to work on after we're done with this is getting power going. So I have the power from our hydrogen generators. We are, let's check out super sustainable. We're at 101,000 out of 240,000. So we're just under halfway there. But now that we're using these things, we should be using more power. I want to start working on getting the power grid ready for when we switch over to a renewable source of power. So once we've used up enough hydrogen, and we have a lot of hydrogen stored up, so we can just keep running it to finish that achievement. We have natural gas here, we have natural gas here, and we have natural gas down here. So for the achievement, we can't run a natural gas generator until we actually can't build any of these generators. Otherwise, we break the achievement. But what we can do is get in here, put down pumps, get it set so that our natural gas can get pumped to a central location, and start storing some natural gas so that we have a large amount of it. That way, when we are able to switch over to using natural gas, we will have it ready to go, and then we can just fire it up. That also means we should probably think about where we're going to put our power grid in the end. So we might take some time and dig out one of these sides and make that our power area, and then we can put our transformers in a little more polished kind of fashion and figure out exactly what we're going to do for this base as far as power goes. And like I said, we have probably another 60 cycles or so before we burn enough hydrogen that we will be able to switch over to natural gas. But once we do, this base will be pretty sustainable. We have enough natural gas coming that we'll be able to run off of it indefinitely. The natural gas will actually give us some more water back, which will fuel this even more. And so we've reached the point it's time to start kind of polishing things up and figure out what our end game is going to look like for this asteroid. After we finish all that, we'll head to the second asteroid and we'll start working into things like steel and plastics, and that will allow us to start with space. So a lot of things coming, but this episode got us to the point where we have sustainability in the base and we have Atmos suits. So I'm pretty happy with that. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.